Hi and welcome to Gamers Web. Today I'm going to carry on my look at the Warhammer 40,000 action figures from McFarlane Toys. And my previous video I looked at the Space Marine Primaris Assault variant from Warhammer 40,000. This one is the Space Marine Intercessor, Primaris Intercessor Artist Proof. Now, this is a proof of concept. As you can see, it's totally grey. There is no chapter markings on it whatsoever, so you can paint it whatever you want to paint. You don't have to stick to you know, like one of the founding chapters or anything like that. You can paint it as anything you tell. You know, like if you want to paint it as the Noise Marines, you know, you can paint it as a Noise Marine, you know, or anything like that. So quick caveat about the action figure itself. These retail at $24.99 roughly. You can get them cheaper and you can get them more expensive depending on where you pick them up from, but they're about £25. For some reason in the States they're $20, like $19.99, which is kind of crazy when you think about the cost of the dollar to the pound, although it's almost on parity at the moment. So they're not very expensive. However, the Bandai figures are 4 times almost the price of this figure. You know, they're going for almost £100 now, and if you've got a mint in box, never opened action figure, one of the new ones, you probably could get $200 to $250 for it easily if you shopped around, because people are wanting them. In my last video I did say that they had 22 points of articulation. I was wrong, they've actually got 51 points, but since I don't have the figure to actually compare to this one or compare to the previous one, I'm just going to stick with what I know. Okay, so let's just jump straight in. Okay, so whereas the previous figure was armed with a bolter and chainsword, this one comes with a bolt pistol and chainsaw. This one comes with a bolter, and it comes with a base, a backpack, and the figure. And look on the back, and we have this figure and the 2 other figures that are in the collection, which is the Primaris Assault Intercessor and also the Necron Warrior as well. So let's jump straight in. Right, so what I'm going to do is, learning from my last lesson, I'm going to pause the video for a moment, and then I'm going to reset the camera, and I'm going to unbox this off camera because it makes a lot of noise. So I should be back in 1 moment. Right, thank you very much for waiting. Right, so I didn't want to open the packaging on camera again because it made way too much noise last time. So I thought it would be much better to actually do it off cam, and I'm glad I did because it made loads of noise. Okay, right, so when we compare this figure to the last one, they are more or less identical. There's the backpack for the other Marine, and I'll move this one along, and as you can see, the only difference, apart from the fact that this one's painted, is that the shoulder pauldron has got a shield guard on it on the painted one, and it's painted, and this hand and this hand are different. This hand and that hand are identical, but other than that, the figures are literally identical. There's no difference with them at all. As far as I can tell, the Hell Blaster, when that comes out, is slightly different because he's got a different backpack, but I've not seen the back of it, so I couldn't really attest to that. Okay, right, so that's this big boy out of the way, and I'll move the backpack out, so let's jump back into this one. Okay, right, so as I say, identical figures, so they're both more or less the same. Again, we've got the peg on the back, which just fits into the back of the miniature here, not miniature model. The good thing about the shoulders is the actual pauldrons on the top actually move up, so you can. It does help with positioning the figure. They still don't twist at the waist, although apparently there is a way to get them to twist at the waist, which I'm going to have to find out in a little while how that happens when I pull one apart. And we do have a regular 22 points of articulation, so The arms move up and down, so as you can see the arms move, and there's also a bend in the elbow as well. But the arms actually twist at the socket just below the pauldron, and the wrists are on a ball joint as well. Now, this is designed for painting, and when you take it out of the packaging and feel it, you can feel that it's got a slightly rough matte texture to it. That's because it's been primed. I'm not sure what they primed it with. Probably the kind of stuff that they actually prime when they actually paint the miniatures in the factory. But this has been primed, so you could, in theory, just paint straight onto this. Now, in my review, I've got a wee tutorial on not how to paint it, but how to go about starting to paint it and to get the best things away from it. I'm actually going to paint this one up, and I'm going to do it as a step-by-step. Now, there are some really good paint tutorials. Frog Lane Miniatures have done a brilliant one on how he did his White Scar miniature, sorry, action figure, so I will leave that in a link in the description below. Now, I keep on saying miniature a force of habit, but basically it's an action figure. They're very heavy toys, as you can hear by that. You know, it's a solid toy. Now, I've seen a few people commenting saying like, oh, I don't know if I can bring myself to pulling this figure apart and destroying it. Well, just to show you, I'm just going to very quickly destroy this figure by pulling his head off like this. Oh, maybe not. That was a bad example. Okay, so basically I'll pull one of the pauldrons off on the shoulder, and then you can see what I mean. Right, so the pauldron comes off very easily. Now, all of this part strips down, this miniature. I think the only parts you can't actually get down is this joint here, from the below the shoulder to the wrist. I don't think that separates, but everything else, right down to the skirt, which goes around the waist, separates. The feet, the individual parts of the feet, they all separate. So you can paint it. So what you could do is, in theory, is just mount these up onto a piece of doweling or a lollipop stick or something like that, and then take them out, airbrush them or spray them up, and then paint them. But my review will cover in all that. Also, the pegs go all the way through all of the miniatures. So you've got this peg's repeated there, you've got it repeated in the hands, and you've got it repeated on the head. You've got a bigger one that's actually repeated that holds the torso together and holds the legs together as well. So the entire miniature comes to pieces completely. Now, I don't want to force it because I don't want to break it, but what I'm going to do is put this entire thing into a bath of hot water and then pull it to pieces when I'm going to get ready to paint it. Now, I'm not going to do that right now because this is only a very quick video, but basically because of the way that the plastic is made, this is like a memory, most action figures are made of like a memory plastic that once it gets hot it becomes very supple and allows you to bend it. To make it sit in that position that you've got it into, you put it in cold water and it stays locked into that position. If you've ever made a vinyl kit, you'll find that it's very similar to vinyl kits, the soft vinyl kits or the hard vinyl kits that were really popular in the 90s and early 2000s. Now, the articulation, as I said, there's 22 points of articulation, leads to some good posability on the actual model itself. Now, in the last video, I did mention about the weapons, that there's a problem trying to hold the bolter in the hand and the chainsaw in the other hand. I couldn't get the chainsaw to go in the hand without actually warming the hand up at all. And I've seen a couple of videos where people have actually tried to just force these in and almost broken the fingers. If you get one and you have a problem, warm this part up here, warm the hand up, and then just gently prise the fingers back, put the weapon in and leave it, and it will just, once it cools down, it will just set back to its normal thing. Most people are just going to actually use these on display, so unless you're a kid going to play with them. That's the big downside with this, because they're a toy, and let's never forget this, they are primarily a toy. They're aimed at children rather than collectors. So these will be on sale in toy aisles, in toy shops all around the world, wherever you can buy McFarlane Toys. And just pop that back in there so you can see what it looks like with his there we go. So it just pops back and you can hear the little pop. These will be on sale in toy shops all around the world, and comic shops. And little Johnny goes in with his pocket money, sees it, wants to play with it, fantastic, takes it home, and then realises that he can't actually put the guns in the hands. So it goes to the back of the toy box and he plays with something else. That kind of thing does happen. I don't see any other real workaround about it unless McFarlane actually retool the hands, which I don't think they will. One thing that I would suggest if McFarlane ever listen is to offer alternate hands for the weapons, and definitely to do an unhelmeted version with a separate head, because if you have a head on a ball joint, that's going to make a lot of posability and uniqueness on the model itself. There are a few people who are actually doing the 3D prints of the weapons and the backpacks and heads and stuff like that, and other heraldry. I've not really been able to find them. I've seen a couple on Facebook, and then when I've gone to try and search for them on Thingiverse and other places, they're not there. I think they might be on one of the secret, inverted commas, websites where they can try and avoid copyright issues. But that said, you know, there's a market for it. So this is just a quick look. The video is only short, but the review is going to be a lot longer. He will hold his gun eventually, and this hand is actually flat, so you can put his hand underneath the bolter, which is, you know, pretty good. It's got an Aquila on the bolter on one side, and then you've got a purity seal there as well, which is fantastic, and it's got a scope. I have seen 2 video unboxings so far. One of them did address this, but the other one didn't, that the scope's been missing. So if you're going to pick one up, make sure you get one with a scope. If not, you'll have to contact McFarlane, who are pretty good at doing returns and stuff like that and sorting out problems. So not much else to say apart from this is a fantastic figure. If you like Space Marines, you like Warhammer 40,000, this is an ideal figure to add to your collection, because you can paint it whatever colour you want and really go to town to it because it's so big. The next one that I'm going to try and cover is the Necron, and it looks likely there's going to be the artist proof of concept for the Necron as well. And looking at the releases that McFarlane and Games Workshop have both posted recently, the other 2 figures definitely come with proof of concept, so it's probably going to be a proof of concept with every figure that they do, which means you can paint your own figures and have unique 7-inch action figures. Compare this to a normal action figure. I'll do that on the next video, because they are slightly smaller. I mean, if this is a 7-inch action figure, he's the wrong scale to a normal figure, because he should be about this big. So, because these are meant to be 8 feet tall. But anyway, I'm waffling on now, so I'm going to cut. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope this video has been of interest, and I hope you like the review. And I will hopefully see you again soon. No matter where you are in the world, please stay safe, look after yourself,